worry about a recording. So
Yeah.
what are you guys doing? You're asking me questions?
Yes.
Yeah, just about health when you were younger.
Yeah, I'll ask the first few.
Yeah.
So, where and what year were you born?
Oh my gosh, what year? 1979.
1979.
Yes.
So you are... Oh, wow, you're not 40 yet.
I'm not 40 yet.
Oh,
Hold
okay.
on to my 30s, 39.
39. Interesting. And where? Where were you born?
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Interesting. Okay, well, what is your most influential memory about the time period you grew up in? You know, like anything, like any major events?
So in what area? Like just in general?
Like
Something in my
The
youth
wars,
that,
wars.
presidential, health crises, anything technology.
I think
So,
really
like-
stands out.
so what was kind of in the general culture that...
Yeah.
Huh. So that would be the 80s and the 90s, which you guys probably now make fun of, or...
The war on drugs. Did you have to deal with the war on drugs?
Yeah, a little bit. A lot of it was our school.
About the music.
So that's interesting. The music was a bigger part of pop culture, and it actually was like a pretty big deal, more so than your generation. So around 91 is when music scene really changed. It happened to coincide with when I started really listening to music. So it got like kind of a little bit deeper and a little bit more artistic than what it was in the 80s. Have you ever listened to 80s music?
It's kind of all the same.
Yeah, and it's poppy, it's not as serious, and then all of a sudden the Seattle rock grunge scene hit.
Grunge.
The rise of hip-hop on a mainstream level happened around that time. So it was actually a good example of like being there when a huge cultural shift happened, and it was actually driven by the music.
Yeah, I heard about that. Like, grunge music came and went pretty quickly, but it also...
It
Brought
totally wiped out all the 80s music.
Yeah.
Like, it literally just stopped hair metal because that was a big deal. And MTV was huge because they showed music videos and they would show these same artists over and over again.
got them big. Interesting. Okay, what kinds of healthcare did you receive as a young child that maybe is different today?
I don't know if it was too much different. You had a pediatrician, you had your eye doctor, you had your dental. Didn't really do much for preventative health. You know, we didn't talk a lot about, you guys probably get like this, the Play 60 style campaigns where like you got to get out for 60 minutes of exercise.
Yeah.
5210.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more organic. It was a little more organic back then because we didn't have as much tech to distract us with.
Yeah. There's much phones, to like hole up yourself like watching TV for like 4 or 5 hours. But now you got like laptops.
Yeah, I don't know what I would have done if I was a kid in this generation. I think it would be like as a parent, you got to be much more aggressive with like, all right, screen time's done.
Get out.
Yeah,
Get out and play.
definitely.
Makes sense. Okay, describe any health education or health promotion you received during your school years, like preventative. Like you were saying earlier.
So at the time, I was probably when most of my health education, I was actually living in the state of New York, so I was on a kind of similar curriculum. I think 7th or 8th grade was kind of the first health class.
Oh, okay.
And that's probably what you guys had too, right? At some point.
Yeah, starting like early middle school.
Yeah, middle school.
And we talked to, it was the awkward class.
Yeah.
Like, oh, wow, these are weird topics that we're talking
Yeah.
about. A lot of sexual health stuff.
STDs.
The scare tactics, the drugs.
There.
That was a big thing, a lot of the anti-drug movement. Not much about nutrition. Not much about that. I mean, they showed at the time it wasn't the food. What the hell was it?
Food groups.
It was a food pyramid.
Yeah.
And that just started because it was a food groups before that, and it was a food pyramid, and then it turned into my plate. But it was just the introduction of the food pyramid. That was like kind of my first foray into it, and then again in elementary school you get some stuff
Yeah, it's very basic.
Speaking of elementary school, did you have school nurses available at all times when you were younger?
Yes,
Do you know?
always had a
You
school nurse.
And you kind of answered this already. So your first health class, you said, was around 7th, 8th grade.
Had to be, yeah.
Nothing earlier
Nothing
than that.
before that. I mean, again, the elementary school stuff, it was like school nurse comes in to talk. Always got the dental hygienist to come in.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, all right, everybody's how you clean. Like, that's like my first memory of like some health thing
Mhm.
at that time.
Yeah, they brought in floss or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Little goodie bags.
yeah, a little goodie bag.
Were seatbelts required in vehicles when you were an adolescent?
Nope.
No seatbelts?
No, and there were times that, you know, I did not wear my seatbelt in the back seat,
Mhm.
which blows my mind.
Yeah, right. Like,
Car seats, like after you were like 3, you're basically on a regular seatbelt. Now,
if
like,
you wore the seatbelt.
if you wore the seatbelt,
Yeah.
we wore the seatbelt, but it wasn't like
What didn't have to.
yeah, and there were sometimes only lap belts.
Crazy. Was tobacco recognized as a health hazard when you were young?
Yes, it was. You know, I say that was another thing, a very big anti-smoking campaign.
That was, yeah. What about obesity? Was that a huge concern during your adolescence?
Not
When did
really
you
a problem.
notice like the shift, like the largest shift in between obesity not being a problem at all, like people didn't think about it?
I was probably too young to recognize it. I didn't really know anything about it until I was in college, you know, which would have been 97, 98, 98, when we started talking about it in class. But it still wasn't like the epidemic, but it was definitely like, you know, McDonald's was really starting to get a lot of heat from
Yeah.
it.
So would you say that tobacco then was the health hazard at that time?
Yeah, I would say, yeah.
Okay.
And it was new, right? Like they had just started talking about it. Or
The
was it-
obesity?
Tobacco.
No, tobacco.
Or like,
So that's interesting. Tobacco, I was always taught no smoking. Like, even my father smoked at the time,
but no smoker.
but told, like, don't do this. And so we kind of realized that it smoked, you know, smoking was not good, but there's still that generation of people who would use it. And,
Still smoke like chimneys.
yeah, and the most jarring thing was just the prevalence of it. Meaning, like, you know, you're at a restaurant, you had a non-smoking section, a smoking section. You go into any business, like, there was smoking.
Mhm.
So that was kind of the big shift happened, and for me, it was 97, 98 is when a lot of places started saying, all right, no smoking indoors.
Yeah.
New York, that happened probably, I think, 99, 2000, something like that. I was going to college in Pennsylvania. We still had it until like 2003, 2004. I remember when I came to New York to go to college, and I was like, oh, no, it's smoke-free. All the bars are smoke-free.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I know
So
you
it's
guys don't think about that, but here's the weirdest part, though. I started working here in 03, 04. I just got out. It was the first job right out of college. And my first year here, although smoking was illegal for indoors, there was some weird loophole where you could still smoke in the dining hall.
Really?
So you go into Cooper, and where the sandwich bar is now, that was the smoking section. And they had a little, like, purifier at the top, and then, like, literally the following year, that was out.
Purified.
I can
Yeah.
imagine that.
And it was, like,
Eating.
just, like, a couple students and mostly their staff.
Mhm.
So to go eat and have their cigarettes.
Smoke break.
Wow.
It was just weird that they had that loophole.
Like when like smoking starts to be incorporated in like your like life, like
Mhm.
in like school. Like, I can't imagine that.
Yeah, definitely not in dining hall.
It's, like,
That's the
accepted
last place I want to.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so in regards to access to health services, was there a place near your home you could go if you needed health information, like when you were a child?
For health information, no.
Aside from like,
Just the doctor's
Yeah.
office, but you weren't going much. And then the nurse's office wasn't really, they never viewed it like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, did you have access to basic sanitary necessities such as toilets, baths, shower sinks, and clean water?
Yep.
In regards to today's society, how do you think health education promotion has advanced since you were a young child?
It's probably more ingrained in the education at a younger age.
Mm-hmm.
So if a teacher is doing their job at the elementary level, they will incorporate some health education part with another lesson plan. It could be like, all right, we're working on a math thing, but we're going to get up and move around at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So and then the PE teachers are also, I think, more attuned to promoting fitness, particularly the younger ones, as opposed to promoting sport and game.
Yep.
Do you think that parents are teaching like more to their children younger too?
I think it depends on the parent.
Mm-hmm.
That, and also the wealth of the community.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for like this community here, you know, some people who are, poverty level, that might not be enough value because they're already dealing with other things in their lives.
Yeah.
And then the screen time is pretty wild. Like,
And it's the norm now.
Yeah.
So.
It's just easy.
it's
Like, just-
babysitting.
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
we all do it. I have a young kid. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, I need like 40 minutes of something not being yelled at right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Going back to schooling,
Mhm.
my high school completely got rid of sports and was purely iPad fitness. So we used
What?
iPads to work out. Like it told us what to do.
What
Like
to do? Yeah.
5 minutes of like high knees
Mhm.
and things like that, which I thought was insane because
I never
having
heard of
iPads
that.
in gym just isn't something I ever thought would be
Sounds so mechanical.
exactly
Like takes the fun out of it.
completely.
It could be fun. Today in 2018, what is a major health concern that you still have
For me or for
personally?
I think
Like, what do you worry about, like, for your kid?
it's that, like, not just a physical activity but the play element. So are they getting, like, I mean, there are so many youth sports out there right now. I have my kid just turned 6,
Mhm.
really young, right? In first grade, and I'm kind of witnessing this right now. There's like, oh, well, you got to get involved in this. You got to get him involved in this, and you know, she's in soccer season right now, and that's fun. All right, go out, run around, play a little soccer, but then it's like one of the coaches is like, hey, you know, we got this. We're trying to get this. Indoor soccer season going where they go and travel to play some other teams at 6. So then it's like, okay, that's the winter season, and now there's a spring soccer season, and all of a sudden, like, you're fully invested into soccer,
Yeah.
and you are not just using your imagination to play on a playground. You're playing whatever sport,
Mhm.
and then you get sucked into that sport culture. And I'm not sure if that's good developmentally. And on top of that, you know, for my kids, I'm worried about their mental health. Like, they're just, every kid, all these kids are all stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like,
Definitely.
Jesus, what?
When I was like 6 years old, my mom put me in soccer, and I would always cry because no one would pass me the ball, and so like she took me out because I was taking it like too seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
So then I stuck with running because I don't have to fight over the ball.
but that's the stress part
Yeah.
about it. It's like,
It doesn't need to be that serious.
it's not supposed to be that serious. And you're sitting there trying to coach the kids of,
Mhm.
like, this isn't serious. And no kid can pass. And when they're 6, they can't pass.
Yeah,
They're just a cluster of bees, like,
Mhm.
following the ball. And you just hope that they get some running around and they have some good, friendly interactions with other kids.
Like, usually competitive soccer isn't really a thing till, like, at least they're 10 or 11, you know?
Yeah, but it's these U team, like U8, like,
UA teams, yeah.
I was like, come on, guys,
How?
come on. And so again, that's what I'm kind of worried about with
Yeah.
with that. I mean, it's great that the opportunity is there,
Mhm.
and like all these different things are there. I mean, there's a whole business beside it.
Yeah.
You got your soccer league, you got your, like, even the Oswego community, not a big community, not a very affluent community. My options, you got your soccer league, we got the swim club, we got the ice hockey clubs. You got baseball, softball, t-ball clubs. You got the intra lacrosse. You got the Pop Warner football. You have your dance. That's a whole nother.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing
Yeah.
of stuff that you can do. You have your taekwondo, karate studios who do some crazy stuff. You have your gymnastics, aerial stuff. So there's
There's a lot of options.
a lot of options.
I,
For sure.
I feel like the youth who like finish like and they end up quitting. They get really good at a certain sport and then they end up quitting. Then they always say like, "Oh, I hate soccer."
Yeah,
Like it's like they start to hate it. Like
you want
they spend. It's not fun.
you don't want to get
And
to that
it's-
point.
Yeah.
And that's and that's what a lot of coaches are saying now with the youth
Mhm.
athletes. Don't play one sport.
Play multiple.
They all say play multiple sports.
Mhm.
Whereas everything in your head says, well, if I want to get good at this sport, I have to keep
Mhm.
playing it and going to clubs and
Scholarship
focusing.
money.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
so. I mean, that's such a rare thing to happen. There's not. I mean,
Yeah.
scholarship money. That's just a pipe dream for folks.
Mhm.
My kid's gonna get D1.
Yeah.
No,
Not,
it's like a
not all D1
standard.
programs even give scholarships.
Exactly. And then
It might give you a couple grand off your tuition. Congratulations, for all that money you put in for
you're
travel.
focused on something better,
Yeah.
or at least worth your time more.
All right.
And then the last question is today, or do you have any advice to current college students today in regards to health education and health promotion?
Yeah, I would say have a plan
Mm-hmm.
for how you're going to tackle your own health. Don't be reactionary. Be proactive in how you're going to manage things.
Like have smart goals.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in class. I mean, I'm a big proponent of not only having goals but having a vision.
Mm-hmm.
The vision of what your health is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what happens is then I can sit here and tell you how you should exercise
Yeah.
and how you should eat. I mean, but you're not going to listen
Yeah.
because our natural instinct is to fight.
Mhm.
So you have to take it and make it your own. And there's lots of things you can do to be healthy. Find what you like to do. And then find what's going to make you connect with this. Make you feel like to internalize it. That's what I think. Everybody struggles with that, and I don't expect a college student to be able to do that
Mhm.
immediately. That's why in college you guys can kind of dabble with this stuff. Like, oh, I can try this. See if I can try this. And as you get older, you start learning to control this stuff a little bit better.
Control your habits to an extent. Okay.
And freshmen struggle with this mightily.
Yeah, I felt like I got most of my fitness goals done, accomplished more when I planned out my eating schedule and when I planned out what my reps and what I needed to do to improve. But that's also not for everyone, Like,
No,
everyone
it's
has
not.
to-
But if that's for you, then then use it.
Exactly.
So that's the tough part is finding what works for you. But if you don't have a plan, you're not gonna.
go in there if you don't have a plan.
Yeah.
Can't progress. But yeah, thank you for your time.
Yeah,
so
thank you
much.
so much.
It's been really good.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
You're the first person I thought